snow. And I turn round and there you go. And Michael, you would fall and turn the white snow red as strawberries in summertime.
Fleet Foxes. One dissenting voice here, Mick Ferry in Cornwall, says, I think Traitors is appalling. It shows people being encouraged to lie, cheat and plot in order to obtain money. It is the reverse of all the characteristics that any decent society would wish to cultivate. Don't think Scott Mills is going to agree with that. He's on after the news. Sarah Cox at 4, Joe Wiley at 7, a CMA Country Christmas at 9 o'clock, then Trevor Nelson at 10 with a Soul Christmas, and Phil Williams sitting in for OJ at midnight. And thank you so much for your company. BBC Radio 2 on the Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 2 o'clock. This is Claire Runacres. The price of regulated rail fares in England will increase by up to 5.9% from March. The government has capped the rise at less than the rate of inflation. Labour said the increase would be brutal for passengers. Our business reporter Simon Browning has more.
A 5.9% rise in regulated fares is lower than the expected figure of more than 12%, because the rise is linked to inflation figures, and this year they've been high. Regulated fares include season tickets on most commuter routes. The Transport Secretary, Mark Harper, called the cap the biggest ever government intervention in rail fares. But for travellers, even higher fares coming at a time of huge rail disruption won't be welcome as strike action continues alongside continuing cancellations.
Passengers on Trans-Pennine Express are facing more disruption, with a further 70 services cancelled today and other routes subject to changes. The train company, which operates across much of northern England and parts of Scotland, suffered a serious technology issue yesterday, preventing it from matching the right crew to the right trains. The Brixton Academy in South London has had its licence to operate as a music venue suspended after 2 people died following a crush last Thursday. Lambeth councillors took the action ahead of a full review in January. Moscow has accused the US of fighting an indirect war against Russia after America welcomed Ukraine's president for an official visit. Volodymyr Zelensky met President Biden, who confirmed the US will provide £1.7 billion worth of additional military aid to Ukraine. The Conservative MP Bob Seeley is in Mykolaiv in southern Ukraine and believes the West should be helping more. He says the approach of France and Germany, who want to avoid Russia being humiliated, is a mistake.
That assumes that at some point President Putin is going to wake up and say, well, I'm now going to make a rational choice, that the war hasn't gone terribly well, so I'm going to pull my troops out. There is simply no evidence that that is going to happen. I think we're deluding ourselves if we think going softly is going to have a positive outcome. It is not.
Hospital lenders warn the next few days could be more challenging after ambulance workers took part in strike action yesterday. Tens of thousands of workers across most of England and Wales walked out in a dispute about pay and patient safety. The NHS Confederation, which represents healthcare services, said trusts were struggling to cope and the situation may get worse over Christmas and into January. Analysis by the property website Zoopla suggests the lockdown trend of moving to larger homes in the countryside may have run out of steam. It says less expensive towns are becoming more attractive as pressures such as higher mortgage rates affect affordability. Andrew Teacher, who's a property expert, says people's priorities have changed.
People have come back down to earth, literally, and remembered exactly all the things they like living close by, such as football, such as shopping, such as their own workplaces for those of us that still go to the office. And those things don't exist often in rural areas.
BBC News, it's 3 minutes past 2.
Thank you, Claire. I hope you're ready for maximum Christmas this afternoon. I've got the Pretenders and Wizard in this half hour.
Scott Mills, Radio 2.
Hello Scott, this is Melissa, a community staff nurse in Hull. I'll be working over Christmas as well as many other in the hospitals in the community, but we love our patients, so we're more than happy to.
Thank you, Melissa, for starting the show, and thanks to you and everyone working in the hospitals over Christmas. Off you go.
It's Thursday, it's 2 o'clock and it's time for the Scott Mills Show on Radio 2. Woo!